Welcome to the Savvy Giving Gal podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Turilli-Smith, and today we are chatting with Teyonna Bowman. Teyonna is a 2-time cancer survivor, a wife, and a mother of 2. She is the creator of Pausitive Outlook, a platform where she shares her journey through medically induced menopause and helps other women navigate this stage of life. Teyonna is also a blogger and the mastermind behind her Second Bloom events. Hi, Teyonna.
Hi, Melissa.
Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
So can you start by sharing your personal journey and what inspired you to start Pausitive Outlook?
Yeah, sure. So I was actually diagnosed with invasive ductal breast cancer when I was 34, and I had a local recurrence when I was 39. And in both of those situations, I found it via a self breast exam. So I'm pretty confident that early detection really did save my life and was important across, my whole course of treatment. And so I went through all of the, traditional treatment elements, chemo, double mastectomy, radiation, all of those things. But because my breast cancer was hormone receptive, which means that it basically thrived and grew in an environment where I was producing estrogen, my oncology team wisely advised me to start early menopause by suppressing my ovaries. And so what that essentially meant was that I was no longer producing estrogen naturally. And at the time when they said you're going to start early menopause so we can prevent any recurrence or a tougher prognosis, I thought, okay, fine, bring it. Let's do it. No big deal. And I started the process. But 2 months after I started suppressing my ovaries, I was going through really extreme symptoms of menopause. And it kind of rocked my foundation. And what was really challenging is that over the course of 2 months, my body was experiencing what most women experience over the course of a decade. So it was really tough to reconcile. And at the time, this was just 2 years ago, there were only a handful of conversations happening around menopause. So the symptoms felt really isolating, especially after finishing cancer treatment and having such a supportive community, rallying behind me. I felt like complaining about menopause, something that most women hadn't really complained of, my mother included, around, or outside of hot flashes, just seemed like the wrong thing to do. And so I didn't really say that much. And I kind of muscled through it. And the only thing that really got me through that time was knowing that, okay, the reason why I'm having all these physical and mental changes is because I'm suppressing my ovaries. But like I said, even with that, the rug kind of felt like it was pulled from under me. And so then I started to think, how do other women feel who are starting to experience these symptoms and they don't even know that this is a part of the perimenopause journey that can really be life-altering. And so I started to learn more. And the more that I learned, the more I was like, how are women not talking about anything but menopause? Because
I no one other people around me ever talk about menopause.
Yeah. And the crazy thing is that we can spend a third to even half of our lives, depending on the onset of it, postmenopausal.
That's crazy.
It is. Yeah. It is. And so I think when we go through the process and we don't understand some of the health changes that come along with it, we may miss out on making really life-altering changes that could improve our overall longevity and just the experience overall. And so the more I started to think about that, and the fact that, our cardiovascular health changes, our bone health changes, the more I thought, I need to have this conversation with everyone in my immediate orbit and make sure that we're all prepared for what's to come. And so then I created the platform called Pausitive Outlook. And so that, essentially was my outlet for sharing my survivorship journey, giving, monthly peeks into my postmenopausal life. I started to get really passionate about also doing breast exams and talking about how to do that and using the platform to teach the best ways for doing that. a couple years after starting the platform, I launched the event called The Second Bloom to create a space for women to have joyful conversations and really prepare for perimenopause. And so it's just my hope that with knowledge and a better understanding of the resources out there, that women will make the best choices for themselves as the years carry on.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. And I love your content surrounding self-breast exams. It's fantastic. I really enjoy watching that. And so informational for women who probably don't check their breasts regularly.
Yeah.
Throughout your cancer and menopause journeys, what strategies and mindset helped you maintain a positive outlook?
I think it was hard. It's an ongoing journey. With cancer, the first thing that I did was I really just allowed myself to feel all of the feelings that came along with it. So like the rage, the sorrow, the frustration, the fear. But after about a week or so of really leaning into the negative side of it, I thought, I'm going to ruminate and go in the wrong direction. And so I need to jump into action and engage with my community to figure out how to attack this, diagnosis. And so one of the things that I did was, started to reach out to people who had experienced cancer. You put me in touch with one of your dear friends who went through the journey, and just being able to hear that, hey, this isn't going to be easy, but you can do it. It's going to be okay. Gave me a lot of confidence to take on my doctor's appointments and, the terms that were really confusing at the time, and just look at this as, a time to fight, to grow. I have a super supportive friendship and family network around me. And so that lifted a lot of the burden off. And my husband is like the best partner. And so we really tag teamed the process, and I was able to get through it that way. So I didn't do it alone. That helped me keep a positive outlook. For menopause, I think it was a little bit different because it was all new. I didn't really know what to expect. People weren't talking about it. And so I had to start pulling out affirmations on my phone, on postcards, all of the things to let me know that it's going to be okay. You're not losing your mind.
Right.
And this is just a new journey. And I think one of the weird things that has come out of this menopause transition is that I almost feel like I'm tapping back into my teenage self, because I was changing a lot. We change a lot mentally, physically as teenagers, and you really have to develop confidence in yourself and push yourself forward and be like, okay, I got this. I don't know what today's going to look like, but I can do this. And I've been doing that a lot with the menopause journey.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. Although I would not want to go back to that time of teenage changing. Yeah. So how would you define positive outlook in your own words, and what core values does it embody?
Well, positive outlook, the name for me seems to best capture this time of life for me. It's not about toxic positivity, everything's going to be okay, but rather it reflects my internal state of being and how I now see the world. And the way that I spell it is pause, like menopause.
Right.
Because that's just who I am now. And I embrace that. The, I guess, cohort that I speak to with positive outlook is really women between the ages of 35 to 55-ish who are starting to experience perimenopause, whether they know it or not, whether they recognize those symptoms or not. And I really make it a point to uncover some of the lesser known symptoms of menopause, like mental health and mental changes that I mentioned earlier. My goal with Positive Outlook is also to create a space for cancer survivors to really grapple with some of the post-survivorship questions that come up, and how we can live our lives in accelerated, menopausal states, and what options are available for us. And then Positive Outlook is also a platform for breast exam, self-advocacy. And then with the second bloom, it's, kind of similar where we're talking about multiple symptoms, how women have entered into this time of life and really carving out a space outside of doctors' offices, outside of cancer support groups, to, talk about some of the questions that we may have in a doctor's appointment that, only lasts 15 minutes. The second bloom is much longer than that. And I want to make sure to have medical professionals there because they want to spend more time talking to us about that too, and kind of breaking through some of the questions. So, my platform really stands for story sharing, authenticity, collaboration, and just being a connector and a bridge to fact-based resources.
One of my secret loves is skincare. I absolutely cherish the 20 minutes of quiet time I have in the morning when my kids are still asleep and my husband leaves for work. I wash my face and apply my skincare while listening to podcasts, music, mantras, and sometimes just in silence. It is the little bit of me time before the hectic day starts. eCosmetics offers the best in beauty from the biggest names in beauty, all in one place. They have great prices, exceptional service, free shipping, and 100% satisfaction guarantee. I love being able to find my favorites all in one place. Something that is also super important to me is when I shop brands that I buy from a brand that believes in helping others and impacting communities. eCosmetics participates in charitable efforts through the platform Good Shop, where a portion of the purchases made through their site contributes to various causes. This allows customers to support charities while shopping for beauty products. If you are looking for a one-stop shop for all of your beauty needs, you should check out eCosmetics. Use my code SAVVY25, that's SAVVY25 at checkout for 25% off. I'll also provide links in the show notes. Many times people have a great idea, but they don't turn it into action or can't turn it into action. Can you walk us through the initial steps you took to create Pausitive Outlook and build this amazing community that you have?
Sure. So one step at a time.
Yeah.
I started by setting up a website. Like I said, I was just learning a lot, and I wanted to highlight the women and the books that were really my source of information. I also wanted to highlight some of the products that I was trying because there are a lot. And I needed an outlet for just getting my thoughts out there. And so I included a blog on the website. So I did that for a couple of months, and everything was fine. And then one of my best friends and, your business partner, she pushed me to take it to social media. And I was like, oh, no, I don't think so. But I did it.
I love that you did it. I love it.
And I'm so happy that I got the push. I thought that it was awful at first, but the more that I did it, it was so terrifying. But the more that I did it, the more fun that it became. And it was like, okay, I think I'm getting into a rhythm here. And so that was really good. And then I actually started working with a business coach, a friend of my sister's who has started her own platform. And she helped me understand that I could expand, what Pausitive Outlook is. And she helped me put together a 12-month plan and just think through the ways that I could communicate, conversations around perimenopause and survivorship more broadly. And so that's where the idea of the second bloom started to kind of bud, I guess. And I was accumulating a lot of products, and I wanted to share those. And the more that I really started to think about Pausitive Outlook as a platform, the more empowered I started to feel. And I wanted to, share that information. And so I started to think about, throwing welcome to perimenopause parties
Ooh, that's
in
fun.
my backyard.
I want
to come. And so, that would be where we could share the information and just share our own stories in our journey. And I think, being a millennial, we're used to welcoming new changes in our lives with celebration. Like baby showers are next level now. And, mom's retreats are like whole weekends long. They're a whole experience. And so I was thinking, okay, how can we bring some of that magic into perimenopause and have a moment like that? And so then again, with another push from my friend, she was like, let's think a little bit bigger than the backyard and, create a beautiful event. And that's where the second bloom came from. And so it's just been, one step that kind of builds on the next and just being willing to try something new, even though it feels kind of scary and foreign to start, but
it's
one
very
step
scary.
at a time.
Yes, but exciting. And what you've been doing is just so amazing. How does it feel to help women navigate this time of their life and manage these significant changes?
It's fun. It's really fun. I feel like the world and the conversations really open up when we go from, hi, nice to meet you, to, have you been, feeling any changes because of perimenopause? It's almost like a stranger becomes a new best friend.
Totally. That breaks down the walls pretty quickly.
It does. Yes. It does. And the floodgates are open, and we start talking about, horror stories or just sharing tips on how to get through it. And I think it's really great because the conversations are almost always followed by action.
Yeah.
And that is the goal. Like we need to be our own best advocates. And the way that we do that is just by sharing what we know, connecting to resources. And so it feels really great to be able to use my personal experience with menopause and breast cancer to help other women make, the best choices for themselves and not take it too seriously. I mean, we're all learning at the same time, but it's really honoring to be able to do that.
Yes, that's such amazing work. And with all this amazing work you're doing and all this positive energy you're putting into the universe, what are some challenges you've encountered being an online creator? And how have you kind of addressed them as you are growing?
I think the challenges some of the surprises is that some of the posts some of the ones that get the most engagement and tend to do the best, if you will, are the ones where I'm the most vulnerable. And, I'm sharing a part of my cancer journey or something that was kind of unsettling about menopause. And that's kind of a challenge because I'm a guarded person by nature. And so it's hard to put myself out there because in doing that, I have to reconnect with the time that was really stressful or scary. But at the same time, my goal is really to just highlight conversations and, make a comfortable space for people to feel like they can share what's going on. There are solutions for what they can do. And so I kind of retreat before I post anything and I have a quiet moment with myself. I pray a lot. Yeah. That really helps me. Yes. I take a deep breath and then I'm like, if as long as what I'm sharing is fact-based and it is highlighting information that has helped me make a better decision, then I should go ahead and share it.
Absolutely.
And roll with it. And so I think just overcoming my own ego has been one of the bigger challenges
for everyone.
But, we're doing it.
I love it. We're doing it. We're doing it. So as a busy mom, balancing menopause, work, and family, how do you manage to stay on top of everything? Because you always seem like you have it all together.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know what you're looking at or, who's telling you that information because I feel like I'm all over the place all the time. But, I use my notes function in my phone a lot. I've been using my calendar more to make sure that I'm not double booking practice and time to focus on positive outlook work. I have been delegating quite a bit. Like I said, my husband is a great partner, and so we're able to split up things really easily. And, sometimes I know it's kind of cliche, but things aren't 50-50. Sometimes they're 80-20. Sometimes they're, 90-10 on my side or on his side. And I think that makes a big difference. I also have my family nearby, my friends, and they're able to help me when I need a little extra assistance, with the kids and whatnot. So I've also started journaling to really lay out the life that I want for myself. And that's been helping from a prioritization standpoint. Saying no is something that I struggle with. It's so hard
to say no and disappoint people, but it's essential for sure.
Yeah. And so I think in being more intentional about the goals that I want to set and prioritizing that way, it helps. And then just being like completely honest, I spend a lot of the time in between dropping the kids off at practice and waiting in the parking lot to get things done.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking about it. I'm like, gosh, a lot of people have a side hustle. I feel like I have a drive hustle. Yeah. Because I get in the car and it's like, okay, let me start checking things off the list. So I just try and use whatever time that I have to check off some of the little things. The car office
is what I call it.
The car office, yes.
The car office. I use the car as an office all the time.
Yes.
Yes. So I can appreciate that. Can you describe your self-care routine and how it contributes to your overall well-being?
Yeah. It's also a work in progress. But I've been working to prioritize sleep more, getting at least 7 hours per night, because in aging, a part of the, menopause process and just brain health, it's so important. And so I have created, or I use the do not disturb function on my phone when it's time to shut things down. And I think that helps. I take time to actually wash my face and prep for the night before versus just hopping straight in the bed. And so that's something for me. It's good for self-care. Every morning when I wake up, I have a routine where I read, I say a prayer, I write down 3 things that I'm grateful for the day, just to get grounded. And then I start to read through affirmations to get going. So that really feeds into my psyche, and it's really important. It's something that I won't trade off, and it only takes a couple minutes to do. And then I prioritize walking my dog in the morning, getting some quiet time with him, and just being able to reflect. And I exercise.
Yeah. Movement. Yeah.
Movement makes a big difference.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So those are the things that I prioritize, trying to drink more water, things like that.
Yeah. Having a good self-care routine is so important. I value that so much in my own life as well.
Yeah.
And taking that couple seconds in the morning just to say affirmations or say what you're grateful for really changes their whole perspective on the rest of the day.
It does.
And I'm crazy about my sleep. Like, no, you can ask all the people in my family how crazy I am about my sleep. So what specific nutritional or exercise habits have you found beneficial during your menopause journey?
Lifting weights 2 to 3 times a week has been extremely critical. I did it when I was younger. I was an athlete, but then I strayed away from that when I stopped competing because I didn't think it was necessary. But what I've learned through the menopause transition and even recovering from my cancer treatments and getting back to my baseline is that lifting weights is critical for bone health. It's actually critical for helping get good sleep. And it's better for reducing hot flashes during the day. I noticed that on the weeks when I'm not lifting weights as often as I should, my hot flashes start to come back more and more. And when I say come back, I mean, I have a lot. Like I'll typically have 10 a day.
Oh, that's a lot. Yeah.
But when I'm exercising and lifting, that goes down to maybe 5 to 7. So it makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's a huge reduction.
Yeah. And so lifting is critical. Taking calcium and vitamin D supplements is something that I do for my bone health. I've incorporated yoga back into my routine, and my daughter and I do it once a week.
Oh, I
so
love
it's fun
that.
time.
Oh, that's so fun.
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's good for my joints and whatnot, and kind of, like what I said, prioritizing water and backing off of alcohol is something that I've had to prioritize just from my cancer history, and then even from a menopause standpoint. It's really important to do everything possible to maximize our bone health, and alcohol is not friends.
It's
not with our bones, with our skin, with our gut. So water has been it. And then I just prioritize eating as many fruits and veggies as I can, having I eat meats and fish, but really trying to prioritize plant-based items. There's a great book by Dr. Stacy Sims called Next Level, and she talks about the importance of lifting and health throughout it. And she is focused on women who are in the perimenopause years. And so it's a great read just to understand that aging well and nutrition in the perimenopause phase of life, and even postmenopause, it's really about balance. Nothing super glamorous, not fasting, not cutting down calories, because our bodies need that energy because of how our body composition is changing. So really just getting to the basics. So she's been really a great resource in helping me understand some great nutritional sources, and yeah, that makes a really big difference.
Yeah, I think exercise and nutrition in any stage of life is important, but especially in this group of people that you are helping, group of women. What do you find most rewarding about Pausitive Outlook?
I find it most rewarding when my friends or family members or people in the community who have started to follow me let me know that they remembered to do a self-breast exam, because I do, it once a month, feel it on the first. And, sometimes I'll get notes like, oh yeah, thanks for the reminder. I just did mine.
Oh, that's so fun. I would love that. I'm going to tell you on your post next time that I just check my breast.
Go ahead.
I'm going to comment.
Yes, fill them up. Okay. So that is extremely rewarding. It's also really rewarding when I get a text or a DM of a perimenopause or menopause-related article from someone in my community, because one, it shows me that everyone around me knows what I'm passionate about, but more importantly, it shows me that person read the article and the information resonated with them. They thought that it was important and useful enough to share, and now they have another tool in their kit to use to make better decisions for themselves. So that makes me feel good, where it's like, at first I felt like I was, just a kind of quiet menopause evangelist. Like, hey, you should do this. Yeah. And now it's like coming back to me and impacting those around me, I hope, in a positive way. So that's really, really rewarding.
Yeah, I absolutely think it is. I think you've opened the door to a conversation that a lot of women were afraid to have, actually. I think it's really difficult for women, for whatever reason, to talk about that stage of their life. And now, especially having gone to your event, women want to be able to share their experiences. So I did have the privilege of attending your first Second Bloom event, which was incredible. And can you describe the event, its purpose, and your future plans for these types of gatherings?
Yeah. So, just like what you said, it can be a hard conversation to have. I think the changes that happen can be embarrassing. I think aging is something that can be tough to grapple with. And so
it's tough for me to grapple with. I'm
hard.
Just going to tell you. I should be doing it gracefully, but I'm not loving that part of getting older.
Yeah, but I think that's where the Second Bloom comes in. It's like, okay, how can we continue to do all of the things that we love, spend time with our girlfriends, potentially shop or do an activity, something that's fully in our wheelhouse, but talk about perimenopause and how we can make better choices for ourselves. So the first event was at one of my favorite boutiques in Pleasanton, and there were about 20 women there who had the opportunity to customize hats, to shop a little, to eat, and just to chat and share their journey. And it was really important that I share my story, but not just, me coming with my story, also including the voices of my friend an OBGYN and my physical trainer, so they could talk about some of the medically and kind of fitness related questions that come up with perimenopause. And so we sat down and I had them talk as panelists. And when they both shared their stories in such a vulnerable way, I remember just sitting there and thinking, like, something special is happening right now.
Oh, you could feel it. I was like in tears, like listening to them. And I didn't even know them, but I was so proud of them for doing that, because that's very, very hard for anyone. Even if you're really in tune with your journey, it's really difficult.
Yeah. It takes courage to share some of the things that can be scary about perimenopause, and to share that there's a lot that we don't know. I think that takes some vulnerability, but it's also empowering. And so it really felt like kind of a 1 + 1 = 3 moment. Like there was just something extra special in that moment. And it was humbling to host, to be a part of, and to have so much support. And what really felt great at the end of it was that some friends of friends, one also a breast cancer survivor, told me that she felt heard after, listening to my story. And there was another woman who decided to join day of. I didn't know her then, but now, we were connected, and she messaged me after the event and said that she set up an appointment with her OBGYN because of some of the things that we discussed. And she wanted to just cover off some questions with them. And so that was really rewarding, because the goal, like I said, is to make the event happen within our wheelhouse, the things that we're comfortable with, having parties, getting together and having a good time, but really to get some action out of it, and to see new decisions, better self-advocacy happening. And so I hope to do many more of those events and cover off different topics of the perimenopause journey, so we can continue to have moments like that.
I loved it. And I loved the goodie bag. I thought that was very sweet, because all of the women I know want to know what you're doing and what you're using and your journal and all the things. And so everyone was chatting about that after too. That was really fun.
I put a lot of thought into those goodie bags. One, I wanted to make sure that most of the products were from women founders, and that they were tools that I use to help me get through the journey. And like they're, great quality. And, there's a perimenopause journal in there where you could track symptoms by Hello Perry. And so it was fun. It was fun to just share all of the things that I was collecting. So I'm happy that you enjoyed it.
I did. It was very fun. So what are your long-term hopes and aspirations for Pausitive Outlook?
That it continues to expand conversations and knowledge over a variety of perimenopause symptoms, and the journey that women go through. I also hope that it shines a light on the journeys of cancer survivors and opens up questions around how we can live our healthiest lives without speeding up the risks that come from early menopause, like cardiovascular changes, bone health changes, changes in brain cognition, all of those things. So I want to continue to expand the conversation and form collaborations and relationships with other women who are doing things in the menopause space, hosting symposiums and whatnot. And so really just want the platform to continue to blossom and to serve as a bridge for the professionals that are within the space and the physicians who can help really push forward conversations around self-advocacy, the best choices that we can make for our bodies when we're going through menopause or having experienced cancer.
Hey, travel lovers, it's Melissa. Traveling with my family to explore new cultures brings me so much joy. And all business class travel can make it even better with their top-notch personalized service. Use promo code SAVVY, that's SAVVY, to get complimentary Black Car Airport transfers. All business class travel makes it easy to focus on what really matters, cherished memories. Visit allbusinessclass.com and start planning your next incredible journey. Well, as you know, this podcast is about change makers in our community, gratitude, and spreading kindness to others. So I ask every guest these last 3 questions. And so I'm going to start. What does it mean to you to be a community change maker? And how do you embrace that role?
I think it's a new title that I'm honored to have bestowed upon me, I guess. And so I think that, stepping into that day by day is something that's really important to me. And when I think about being a community change maker, I actually think a lot about my kids and them seeing me learn new things and communicating and sharing that with not only our immediate, friendship and family group, but also those outside of our immediate reach, because the cause is so important. I encourage them to be their best selves and to do what's right, to be kind. And so I think by trying to practice what I preach and show them that they can be better they can be better stewards for the community that they live in. And they're both cancer previvors, I guess. And so I want to make sure that they are making the best choices from a health standpoint and can be influential to their friend group around them as well. So I really think of it as kind of a chain reaction, just walk the walk, and hopefully that spreads.
I love it. Yeah. How do you envision the ripple effect of kindness manifesting in the community that you've built?
I think sharing information and recognizing that everyone's journey is unique is really important. And I hope that it's a message that resonates when we share our stories and we just sit and listen to each other. We have more empathy for each other, and I think we're more willing to care for each other as a collective in meaningful ways, and that makes the community stronger in general.
And last, based on your inspiring journey, can you suggest one small act of kindness that our listeners can incorporate into their daily lives?
Yeah, I think when the feeling moves you to do something or say something kind to someone, do it. It makes a really big difference. A lot of ways, in ways that we wouldn't recognize. I think saying a kind word, doing something kind for someone with no strings attached can really lift someone's day, because you never know where someone is mentally, what kind of day they've been having. Just an example, yesterday, I was pulled over at a gas station. I had an issue with a low, tire pressure with my son, and we're trying to figure out how to get things to work and whatnot. And a really friendly man comes up and he's like, hey, do you need help? Are you guys doing okay? And I was like, yeah, I think we need a little help. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm an expert in this type of car. I can help you out. And so he helped us fill up the tire. He gave me a recommendation for where to get my car fixed, get things replaced. And then he left. Wow. And it was so nice. And my son and I had so many things to do that day. And it would have been really stressful to try and figure that out on my own. But he saw that we were in need, and he took 5 minutes out of his day to help, and it made a world of difference for us. And it was minor.
That's huge.
But it made a big difference.
Huge. Yeah. That is so huge.
And so I think we have a lot of power as individuals, and when we do things that are just natural for us to make the world a little bit easier for someone else, it makes a huge impact. And so I think if you know that you can help someone in an easy way, do it. If you can offer someone a compliment and, just let a person know that they're doing great, just being the person that they are, do it. It really lifts up a spirit, and it's contagious. And I know that I wanted to pay it forward after I was helped. And I think that is just how life kind of works.
I love that. Well, I've enjoyed our conversation today so much. I am so grateful that you came and talked to us today. Can you share where the listeners can find you and how they can get involved in Pausitive Outlook?
Sure. So you can find me on Instagram at Pausitive Outlook, and that's spelled PAUSITIVE.
Yeah.
And you can find me at my website. It's the same, pausitiveoutlook.com. I am going to be building another Second Bloom event. So if you're interested in joining,
so exciting.
Yes, definitely visit my website. Give me your email so I can share information with you. And if there is anything in the community that is perimenopause or cancer survivorship related, I'm going to be a part of it. And so I would love for you to just follow me in my journey, and you can join me in those activities as well.
Okay, I love it. Thank you again, T.
Thank you, Melissa. This was great.
This was great. Thank you for listening to the show. I hope it sparks a desire in you to dedicate even a small slice of your life to uplifting others. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. Follow me on Instagram at SavvyGivingGal. You can also visit my website at SavvyGivingGal.com. Let's spread positivity together.